So to get the sound that I'm after, I really use this envelope amount. Hello, welcome to Spotlight. Today I'm going to be talking about the Moog Grandmother. If that sounds like something you'd be into, stick around. So here is the Moog Grandmother. This is a really cool analog synth, mono. So I picked this thing up new, and I really didn't know anything about analog synth, the analog synth world when I got it. I do have this CS1X, which I've been playing for a while, but getting my head around all the controls of an analog synth and just being able to create different sounds, it's not just all one sound in these things. That took some time, but it's been a really enjoyable experience. Some of my favorite things on here are the reverb, of course, the filter cutoff. The filter on here is great sounding. Then I also have, the modulation has been really nice. I've plugged my electric guitar into here quite a bit and got some cool sounds with that. I have a video on that if you want to check it out. But today I'm going to show you 5 of my favorite kind of sounds on here. These are sometimes just textures, but it's different sounds that I've found that really inspire me and have been perfect for what I'm after. The first sound is a arpeggiated kind of thing. So it's very basic arpeggiator. So to get the sound that I'm after, I really use this envelope amount. The sustain is all the way down. You can bring it up a bit, but I like to just use the attack and decay to craft that. So you have a really rhythmic, plucky sound. I'm using this this first waveform, this first triangle wave. You can hear how there's so much texture in that sound. It has a great kind of plucky attack, very natural sounding. So from here, that's kind of the basic sound. You can add in some reverb. You can add in the other oscillator. If we sync it up, a little bit thicker sound. I do have a bit of noise on right now, so without the noise. And if we change this note, another thing that works nicely is using the sawtooth with this first waveform. Adds kind of a bit of depth to it, but it's not totally unison because the wave shapes are different. Anyway, so that's a sound that I've been really happy with. Of course, you can tweak it from there, but just getting that really attacky, plucky sound is really nice in a lot of cases. The second sound is more of a lead sound that I've kind of trying to go after a bit of a theremin-like sound. So if we try, let's see, I'll usually have the envelope amount just down a little bit, the glide up quite a bit, sustain up obviously. that can be a really nice sound in more gentle songs where you want a lead part. Most of the music that I'm doing is pretty rootsy, folky. Acoustic drums, acoustic guitar, and so that kind of a lead sound really fits nicely in that world. And it can be very gentle and still kind of bring some kind of synth element to the song. A third sound that I'm really into is both the waveforms on the saw and then just detuning the second oscillator in more of kind of a bass sound. So let's hear what we got. So you're kind of almost playing chords with that, and it's changing the frequency on the second oscillator. Really cool sound. Can be kind of more bassy if you just kind of even have them real bassy, punchy, growly sound. But if we go back to here. And then there's still quite a bit of bass in there, even though so I'll take the high pass up a bit. So that can be kind of fitting in where a guitar would. And so that can be a really good sound. And I like using this high pass filter a lot just to make it very clear whether or not I'm doing a bass part or not, because when it comes time to mix, you're going to be adding, a high pass filter. So you might as well record it, with the sound using these nice filters and just get rid of some of that low rumble that could happen in a sound like that, where it's going to be in the lower mid range. The fourth sound is a real simple sound that I just have really enjoyed. One oscillator on in drone mode. So you have that going. Then we go on to the sawtooth. We'll get a nice slow rate here. Then we bring that. That's a really nice sound because I can have my BeatStep Pro here sync to the rate, and so you can lock right in with a groove, and then you can sequence in something on there or on the BeatStep Pro to just go through some chords and play a really simple bass line, but by using, and you just use the modulation LFO to give it some rhythm. So that's a nice use of the square wave for me. The fifth sound that I have really enjoyed is the square wave sound here, and getting a bit of a aggressive with the filters. So if we go to, let's sync these waves together. Relax. It's a really nice sound because it has a reedy texture. And then, of course, you can bring in some pulse width modulation on that. So that can be kind of used as a pad sound, if you just have just a touch of modulation, and then build a track kind of around that as a pad. Can also be a lead line, up higher. It's kind of got a bit of an organ sound. It's got a bit of a, clavinet kind of thing going on. But it's a really simple, nice sound. Of course, there's 100 more sounds that are great that you can get out of this. But that's kind of been my top 5 sounds that I've just found immediately useful, and I've been recording with them. I've been just using so many cool sounds out of this. One of the great things about it is that every time you come back to create a sound that is roughly in the same place with the knobs, it sounds a bit different because it's not all exact, and that's been really enjoyable. Coming from guitar, this synth has it's been really easy to understand, and it's been really kind of fun to work with, and not spending too much time with the manual. I can just sit down and start figuring it out, on the fly. Pros and cons for this thing. Pros, it sounds really good. The reverb is really useful. I do love that it can go to 100% wet with no dry signal, because that can be really cool for creating some textures. Other things that I love about it, I love the distortion that comes, or the saturation that comes with in the mixer section. And I often have my oscillators, my volume up halfway, and then my oscillators would go to max to kind of get my normal full volume, because you get a lot of extra great sound. Of course, if you want to go cleaner, you can just run those back and turn up your master volume. Cons for this thing, it's hard pressed to find any, but one thing that I do find a little bit annoying, you noticed when I was playing there, just finding a small amount of pitch, wobble is kind of difficult, because this, goes pretty extreme quickly in the modulation section. And so, yes, you can control, if you have this up high, you can just get a tiny bit by going like that. But I'd like to just be able to have a very little bit of pitch here, so when it goes full on the modulation wheel, I'm just getting a little bit of wobble. But that is a little bit tricky to get. I wish that there was a finer grade on this knob. I haven't used anything past a quarter on the pitch amount. It's kind of the same story with the reverb. I love that you can go 100% wet, but I wish that there was a bigger knob, maybe like this filter cutoff knob, where you can really fine tune some of these earlier sounds and just get, because a lot of the time I just want a 10% or something on there, and sometimes you overshoot it, and it's a bit annoying just finding that one spot. I thought that maybe this high pass could be wired right into the default signal chain. I'm not sure why it's not, but because I keep this wired in most of the time. I just like being able, if it's off, it's off, but I just like being able to get a bit of a high pass pretty quickly. But overall, I think this is a really cool synth. It's been great for, coming from a guitar background, to understand all the different sections of an analog synth. It's been super fun to play. And yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Zachary Smith. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.